Hi, everybody. This is Miss Marilyn here as your candy connoisseur this week. Welcome back. Good to see you. Woohoo! So if you remember, we are talking about custom creations. There's only one you, there's only one me. We are unique and individual. What does individuality mean? Discovering who you're meant to be so you can make a difference. You have unique potential. You have gifts. You're special. Even if you're a twin, you're different than your twin because God made you absolutely special. So remember that. We're going to come back in a few minutes after we get the wiggles out and start our dancing and our singing. See you in a minute. So remember, I said each of us is individual, and God gave me gifts and talents and special traits that you don't have, but you have gifts and talents and special talents and gifts and traits that I don't have. Sort of like this ice cream. And you may wonder, how does that connect to ice cream? Because I'm a good problem solver. I love puzzles, jigsaw puzzles, real-life puzzles, all kinds of fun problems to solve. Math problems? And let's see, I love meeting people. I like hospitality. I like greeting people at the doors. I like making them feel comfortable. Oh, that reminds me of these beautiful sprinkles. Yes, I am an amazing and beautiful individual creation of God, just like you are. He made me special. He made me individual. But I'm not perfect. And there's some things that I see in myself that may not be so special or good, but they're there. Like this hot sauce could be my impatience sometimes. Yeah, impatience. Jumping the gun, not waiting on people, not giving them time to finish. You ever been that way? Yeah. What else? Let's see. Sometimes I see myself as selfish. I catch myself, and I'm thinking, yeah, ranch dressing, I catch myself, being a little selfish and thinking about Miss Marilyn and not about other people. Ever been that way? Yeah. So, the ice cream doesn't look quite as good as it did. But it's real. Yeah, God made me special, mostly in really good ways. But every now and then there's this other weird stuff. You think I should eat it? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I've got a story for you. Got a Bible story. And there's a guy in our Bible story today. His life looks a little bit like this. And then Jesus comes in, and things start to change. Check it out.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Matthew, chapter 9, verses 9 through 13.
Everyone in the shore town of Capernaum knew who Matthew was.
You may also call me Levi.
But few people actually liked him.
Well, that's rude.
Truth is, Matthew had put himself in an awkward situation. He was Jewish, like his relatives and friends, but he chose to work for the hated Roman government.
Just trying to make a living.
Matthew was a tax collector for the Romans, and tax collectors were known to lie about the amount of money people owed.
5 gold pieces.
But it was only 3 last year.
5, and not a shekel less.
After collecting money, the tax collectors would keep the extra for themselves. Many of them grew rich by robbing the poorest people in their towns. In fact, tax collectors and sinners were considered to be the same thing.
Hey, I work hard.
But no matter how hard Matthew tried to polish his own image, deep down, he knew how others saw him. He heard their whispers as he crossed to the other side of the street to pass his booth.
I do not know how that man sleeps at night.
He's the worst, doing the Romans' dirty work.
But one day, the crowds of Capernaum were full of different news.
Did you hear about Jesus of Nazareth?
The rabbi?
He's not only a teacher. This morning, he made a lame man walk.
That's just talk.
My son was there. He saw it with his own eyes.
The whole city was ablaze with the story, and even Matthew, who was tucked away in his tax collector's booth, was fascinated.
Maybe the man just had a limp or something?
Oh no, this Jesus has real power. He cares about people.
Well, maybe. Anyhow, you owe 3 gold pieces.
3? How are we supposed to eat for the rest of the season?
Take it up with the governor. I'm just doing my job.
I bet Jesus would have something to say to you.
Next.
Within a short time, the market became even more crowded.
Jesus! Jesus is coming this way!
From his booth, Matthew craned to see. Though he was curious, deep down, he had to admit that no rabbi would have kind words for him.
I'm a fool. Even my own people hate me.
Suddenly, the crowds parted. Just down the street, Matthew could see a tall man with a rugged face and piercing eyes. A group of common fishermen followed at his heels.
It's Jesus.
Matthew watched, waiting for the rabbi to pass him by. Instead, Jesus stopped right in front of Matthew's booth.
Rabbi?
Jesus looked directly at Matthew, reading every single thought in his heart.
Nice day? Not too hot. Not too cold.
Jesus kept his gaze fixed directly on Matthew's face.
Come, follow me.
Shocked, Matthew looked around. The crowd has fallen away.
Who? Me?
Jesus nodded. Matthew gaped. He had no doubt in his mind that Jesus knew every single thing about him, even everything he'd done wrong. But still, Jesus wanted Matthew to join him.
Oh, well, yes.
Matthew found himself leaping up from his seat and rushing out of his booth to join Jesus on the street.
It's, nearly dinner time. Would you like to eat at my house?
To Matthew's amazement, Jesus and his followers turned their steps towards Matthew's home. Quickly, Matthew sent out word to everyone he knew.
Come to my house for dinner.
Matthew, who had expected to eat alone, found himself hosting the most famous rabbi in town for dinner, along with a ragtag group of fishermen, tax collectors, and other outcasts.
Jesus doesn't care what I've done. He thinks I can be better, that I'm worthy to follow him.
But while Matthew rejoiced to discover his brand new identity, the city's religious leaders were horrified by what Jesus had done. They sidled up to Jesus' disciples.
Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?
You know, that's a great question.
Jesus overheard the religious leaders and answered the question himself.
Those who are healthy don't need a doctor. Sick people do. I have not come to get those who think they are right with God to follow me. I have come to get sinners to follow me.
Preposterous.
From then on, Matthew followed Jesus everywhere. With his own eyes, he had seen more of the things that Jesus had done than nearly anyone else. Near the end of his life, he wrote down all the stories he had witnessed and gathered so that others too could know Jesus.
So welcome back. Wasn't Matthew an interesting character? Yeah. He had lots of gifts and talents. He had good things he could do for Jesus later in his life, but at first, he was a cheater. He stole people's money. He was not a good guy. Those are all called sins. They're things that separate us from God, that make us not very much like God. Sort of like my selfishness earlier that I talked about, or my impatience. But you know what? God came in the form of Jesus and died on the cross and forgave our sins. He took away Matthew's sins. He took away my sins. He helped all of us become clean again in him because he died for us. It doesn't mean that we act perfect every day. It just means that he helps us use our gifts and talents in a better way to serve other people. Just like Matthew, for years and years and years after he met Jesus, he served him. He gave his life to telling people about Jesus. Have you told someone about Jesus today? That's what he gives us our gifts and talents to do, not just to keep for ourselves, but I need to be hospitable so I can make other people feel more comfortable and more like Jesus would want them to feel loved. He helps give me problem-solving skills. Remember my problem-solving skills? And my hospitality, they looked like this before all the sin came into play, right? All those wonderful things God gives us. Look at our Bible story, our Bible verse for this week. Can we put that up? How you made me is amazing and wonderful. I praise you for that. What you have done is wonderful. I know that very well. Psalm 139:14. He has made us amazing and wonderful. He made you amazing and wonderful. He made me that way. And remember, our bottom line for this week is knowing Jesus changes how you see yourself. It changed Matthew. He didn't see himself as a bad man anymore, so he started doing good for Jesus. Knowing Jesus helps us to see the Jesus in us and all the gifts and talents he gave us. Wow, I think I might want to dig into these amazing gifts and talents and just have a little taste of this ice cream. What do you think? Mm-hmm. But I will maybe see you soon. Have a wonderful week. Mm-hmm. 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 Good, good.